G'day mates, my name is Silemn. As most of you know, the Battlefield Hardline Beta was launched at the end of the Electronic Arts presentation at E3. It's only available for those playing on either PC or PlayStation 4. Unfortunately, those playing on last generation consoles and the Xbox One won't be given access. This might be due to the Xbox One players getting early access to Battlefield 4's Second Assault DLC. Now I, a PS4 player, was able to get access to the beta, and I've played a lot and I absolutely love it to pieces. Well, most of the time. It plays a lot smoother than Battlefield 4 and it feels a lot more consistent. I love how the vehicles are still there, but it feels like the mechanic class is useless now that every other class can damage vehicles. I think that the mechanic definitely needs a buff. There is also no new attachments. It is all the same as Battlefield 4. It feels more like a DLC than a full game. Well, nevertheless, I will be showing all of the weapons, gadgets and other aspects of the Battlefield Hardline Beta, so stick around until the end of the video to hear about all that information. Now I'm sorry this video took so long to get here, but I just finished my school exams and I'm now on a 3-week holiday, so I'll be uploading much more frequently. I also have an Elgato Game Capture HD on the way, so expect lots of HD gameplay. First of all, I will talk about the small things that have made their way into the beta. There are now 3 types of hit markers. You have your standard hit marker for the body shots on an enemy player. There is now a red version of that hit marker, which indicates a headshot on an enemy player. And finally, a hit marker that looks somewhat like the English flag to represent a vehicle hit. Now you know if it's the player or vehicle that you are damaging. Speaking of damaging vehicles, assault rifles and other primary weapons now do damage to the light armoured vehicles. They don't do very much damage, but a whole squad of players all firing at one vehicle could be deadly. Another new feature that has been introduced in the beta is a picture on your kill cam screen that shows what part of the body was shot to cause your death. No more will there be those moments where you are screaming at your screen as to why you died so quickly. You can just check the bottom right corner of the screen and see that you were killed by a headshot. The driving mechanics have also been drastically improved. It now feels much more fluid, kind of like your average racing car game, which is a step in the right direction. It's now far easier to fly a helicopter, so expect to see more of them in the sky. Another cool thing that Visceral has done with vehicles is allowing the passengers in cars to shoot their weapons. They are only given a small field of view, however, they can get a 360-degree view by exposing their whole body out of the car, which is a clever way of balancing it. Extended mags are back from BF3, so PDWs can be even more deadly in the close quarters, especially the P90 with a 50-round magazine, and assault rifles can be used to mow down enemies at medium and long ranges with that extended mag. One addition that I absolutely love is the ability to manually grab medkits and ammo bags. If you are low on health or ammo, you can go straight up to an operator or enforcer and hold down the reload button or key, and you will grab health or ammo from them. For operators, you will get a first aid pack, like the first gadget you get for playing Assault in Battlefield 4, and the enforcers will get 1 full magazine for every time you take ammo. It does seem to have a short cooldown of about 4 to 5 seconds. In relation to the weapons and gadgets, I will tell you the universal items first and then talk about the class specific items. I will be making videos going into detail on all of the weapons, so leave down in the comments which one you want me to do first. First of all, I will talk about the grenades. There are only 2 types of grenades in the beta, which thankfully eliminates grenade spam that is becoming oh so apparent in Battlefield 4. They are the normal M67 frag grenade and the tear gas grenade. You can carry only 1 frag grenade and it will kill anyone within a short radius in 1 hit. You can carry 3 tear gas grenades and they will have 3 effects on the enemy. They will do a small amount of damage every second, so it can kill the campers who aren't moving. It obscures vision for those in its area, and also gives them random optic sway, so their accuracy will be penalised. There are 3 types of melee weapons in the beta: the knife, the baseball bat, and the police baton. With the knife, there is no front knife animation, thankfully. Each swipe that hits the enemy will do 50 damage. From the back, however, there is an animation, and you will seal the enemy player's dog tags. Baseball bats and police batons will also do 50 damage from the front and will have a back animation, but it is slightly different. You will take the enemy player to the floor and handcuff him. You will then have the ability to interrogate them, which shows the enemy players within a small area on the minimap. You will still get the points for the kill, so really there is no reason to choose the knife over the baseball bat or police baton. Now are the universal gadgets. There are 4 in the Hardline Beta. They are the zipline, the grappling hook, the taser, and the gas mask. With the zipline, you can shoot it at a solid ground that is below you within a certain distance. Any player can then access that zipline, so it's a good team gadget. A direct hit with the zipline will kill a player instantly. The grappling hook can be deployed on any blue bar that is above you. This makes it easy for players to see where they can and can't use it. The taser will take half the opponent's health per shot, but if you hold down the trigger, a small circle will appear and will fill up, and the enemy will be killed with one shot once this is full. The last universal gadget is the gas mask. It basically makes the player immune to the effects of the tear gas grenade. I haven't seen many people running with this gadget at the moment, but I expect to see it become more popular as more people start using the tear gas grenade. Now I'll move on to the operator-only weapons and gadgets. The three primary weapons are the M16A3, the AKM, and the G36C. The M16A3 is back from Battlefield 3. For those who haven't played Battlefield 3, the M16A3 was a fan favourite. It was definitely one of the best guns in the game. It's better than the current best weapon in Battlefield 4, the Ace-23. I'm glad to see it back. It has a decent rate of fire and a quick reload. It also doesn't have a lot of recoil and has a decently small spread, which makes it good at all ranges. But it will still lose some gunfights in close quarters with things like PDWs due to it not having the highest rate of fire. The AKM is new to the Battlefield franchise. It supposedly has a high rate of fire, but it appears to have a much slower one. However, it does have an increased damage model, so it hits like a truck. It has medium recoil, medium accuracy, and a quick reload, so it is a decent weapon. Lastly, we have the G36C, which was a carbine in Battlefield 4, so I'm not sure why it's in the operator class. And it's a very slow rate of fire, so you will lose a lot of gunfights in close quarters, but it makes up for that with its accuracy, which is outstanding. It's a good weapon for a game mode like Blood Money, if you're just camping in a building next to the pile of money. Next we have the pistol, which is a 38 snub. It is a revolver and has extremely good accuracy with both ADS and hipfire. And is an extremely good pistol in my opinion. It has a very fast rate of fire and has 6 in the mag, and has a very relatively good reload. Lastly, we have the operator gadgets. First is the med bag, which acts the same as it did in every other Battlefield game, except for the fact that it is now red. Next we have the revive, which is a needle that you inject into a dead player that has the revive indicator above their body. It acts the exact same as the defibs from past Battlefield titles. And lastly we have the survivalist. It's basically a revive, but for yourself. If you aren't killed by a headshot, explosion, or vehicle impact, you can use this to revive yourself. This is the one gadget that I kinda see as overpowered. I don't really think that it suits Battlefield, as it isn't a team gadget at all. It can only really be used to continue your kill streak, so I don't think it belongs in a Battlefield title. That is all of the information that I have regarding the operator class. Next we'll move on to the mechanic. The three primary weapons for the mechanic class are the UMP-45, the P90, and the Uzi. The UMP-45 is pretty much the same as it was in Battlefield 4. It has a very slow rate of fire with only 600 rounds per minute. It has a decent reload and just like all PDWs has extremely good hip fire. It doesn't really excel at anything but is decent at everything. It can be useful at any range and is one of my favourite PDWs. Next we have the P90. This PDW is very similar to its counterpart in BF4. It has an extended magazine of 40 and has a high rate of fire. Due to its amazing hipfire, it is definitely a close quarter weapon as it rips through enemies. It doesn't have a huge amount of recoil, however it isn't very accurate, so you will find it hard to hit targets between medium and long range. It is a good PDW for use in defending your truck in Blood Money. I enjoy the P90 and hope it stays relatively similar to how it is. Lastly we have the Uzi. This PDW is one we haven't seen in a Battlefield title for a while. It is an average rate of fire and the same good hit fire that all PDWs have. It has a fair amount of recoil, but it is exceptionally accurate. This PDW will be average at close quarters combat, but will excel at medium to long range. It looks like the mechanic class will finally have a weapon that is good at these longer ranges. The pistol the mechanic gets to use is the 92 FS. It has 15 rounds in a magazine and in my opinion can be compared to the P226 from BF4. It has a decent rate of fire and maintains its accuracy out to medium range. Lastly we have the mechanic gadgets. There is your standard RPG, which does huge damage to small vehicles and medium damage to the heavily armoured ones. It is the only weapon of its kind and I expect it to be the most common mechanic gadget. Next is the repair tool, which repairs vehicles, believe it or not. This will also be one of the extremely common gadgets once the full game launches. And lastly there is the Stinger missile, which can be locked onto air vehicles but can't damage ground vehicles. I don't expect to see this much as there aren't very many air vehicles. That is everything related to the mechanic class. Next we have the Enforcer. The three primary weapons that the Enforcer gets are the MG36, the 870p Marine Magnum, and the sawed-off shotgun. The MG36 reminds me a lot of the AWS from BF4. It has the same 100 round double drum magazine, it has the same 800 rounds per minute, and is decent at medium range. It does, however, have a strange recoil pattern, going straight up and then turning straight to the left, which is a bit strange. Burst firing this could turn it into an assault rifle with a massive magazine. It is an LMG though, so it does have horrible hipfire accuracy, so you're going to want to aim down sights as much as you can. This is my weapon of choice for the Enforcer class, just because I'm not a fan of shotguns. Next, we have the 870p Marine Magnum. It operates much like the 870 from BF4. It has a tight spread up close and a decent amount of damage for a shotgun. It has 8 shells per reload, which is a decent amount. Since it is a shotgun, the reload will take you a while. It is a good shotgun if you're not looking to use it at point blank range. If you are, then I think that the sawed-off shotgun is for you. It only has 2 shots per reload and has a massive amount of spread, but it does have huge amounts of damage for each shot. It doesn't have these capabilities at range, however, so I wouldn't recommend using this on larger maps unless you're only looking to operate within a small park. For a shotgun, it has a pretty quick reload, but that's probably because you are only reloading 2 shells. The pistol the Enforcer gets is the HK-45C. It's really a mix between the 38 snub and the 92 FS. It doesn't quite have the damage of a revolver, but it has more than the standard pistol. It is also magazine fed and very good at range, much like the standard pistols, so it kinda gets the best of both worlds. I expect it to be the favourite pistol in the full version of the game. The 3 gadgets that the Enforcer gets are the riot shield, the breaching charge, and the ammo box. The ammo box acts the exact same as it did in Battlefield 4, replenishing ammo and items such as grenades. The breaching charge is the exact same thing as C4, and acts the exact same way. I don't expect to see it much, since the Enforcer has a massive magazine to destroy vehicles with. Lastly is the riot shield. It completely blocks all incoming fire from the front if you're holding it. If you sprint, then you lose the protection, which is a good way of balancing it. However, if you aren't using it, it stays on your back and blocks all incoming fire, which is realistic, but in my opinion makes it a little bit overpowered. That's all for the Enforcer class. The last class we'll be looking at is the Professional. The 3 primary weapons that the Professional has access to are the R700 LTR, the Saiga 308, and the PTR 91. The R700 LTR is a bolt-action sniper rifle. It does a good amount of damage and will obviously excel at range. It also has 10 rounds in each magazine with 1 in the chamber. It doesn't have great hip-fire accuracy, but that's to be expected. It's the best out of the Professional weapons in my opinion. That being said, I don't really know a lot about snipers or DMRs, so I wouldn't really advise that you trust me. The next weapon is the Saiga 308. It's a semi-auto sniper. It has almost the range capabilities of the bolt-action sniper rifles, but it doesn't do as much damage. It does have faster rounds per minute and more bullets in the magazine, as it has 20. It also doesn't have great hip fire, so I would avoid those close to it engagements. As most Professional weapons, I would stay to those medium and long ranges with this weapon. Lastly, we have the PTR 91, which is the designated marksman rifle. As with all DMRs, it has a faster rate of fire and a larger magazine than the snipers, as it has 25, but it doesn't do as much damage, nor does it have the same range. This weapon will perform slightly better at closer ranges than the snipers, but I would still recommend you keep this to medium range. The sidearm that the Professional gets is the Tech 9. This is kind of like a submachine gun. It is automatic and shoots at 800 rounds per minute. It has decent hip fire and not a lot of recoil, but its bullet spread is huge, so this is strictly a close quarters sidearm. The 3 gadgets that the Professional gets is the laser trip mine, the decoy, and the camera. The laser trip mine acts very similar to the Claymore, except it only has 1 green laser that will set it off. You can put 2 of these in the field at any given time. Next is the decoy. This will make gun noises and will put fake plays on your enemy's minimap. It can also be thrown a very long way. The camera acts kind of like a tugs. It can be placed on a wall and shows all of the enemies within a 50-meter radius of the front of the camera. That's all of the information I have regarding the classes and their weapons and gadgets. Lastly, I will go over the game modes that are available in the beta. There are two game modes, which are Blood Money and Heist. Blood Money revolves around a central pile of money. The players try to take money from the pile and take it back to their truck. Each bag of money is worth $100,000, and the maximum amount a player can carry is $500,000. The players need to achieve $5 million in their truck to win. However, players can steal money from their enemy's truck and take it back to theirs. Heist is about the robbers stealing 2 bags of money and taking it back to the 2 separate locations. The robbers have to open up a truck and steal the money before the cops arrive to stop them. The cops have unlimited tickets, but the criminals only have 100. This game mode is very similar to Obliteration, where the player with the money is shown on the screen, but instead there are 2 bombs at any given time. If the police manage to kill the carrier, they have to stand around the money and protect it for a period of time. When this time is up, the money will return to the truck. Well, that's all the information I have for you regarding the beta. If there is any aspect of the beta you want me to go over in more detail, leave it in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, as these videos take a long time to make. Stay tuned for more Battlefield Hardline news and Battlefield 4 gameplay. My name is Silemn, and I'll see you in the next video.